How pretty. Marlene Warren's final words, spoken with delight, were the last thing she ever said before a clown shot her in the head. But who would want to murder a small-town mother with no known enemies? The chilling answer took over 30 years to unravel, revealing a deadly conspiracy cloaked in deception, obsession, and betrayal. It was a typical morning in Palm Beach County, Florida. The sun beamed through the kitchen window as Marlene Warren sat down for breakfast with her son, Joe Ahrens. They were in the middle of their casual conversation when the unexpected happened. A knock at the front door. Joe watched as his mother stood and moved toward the door. She was smiling, always a cheerful Sula, what she assumed would be a pleasant surprise. But no one could have anticipated what came next. A clown, dressed in full costume, a garish orange wig, oversized shoes, and a painted face. The figure stood in front of Marlene, holding a basket of flowers and 2 balloons. She admired the gesture, her voice filled with surprise. How pretty. Then, without warning, the clown pulled out a gun and shot her in the head. The sound of the gunshot echoed through their home. A single, deafening crack that would haunt Joe's mind for years. His mother collapsed onto the ground, blood pooling around her as the clown turned and fled, disappearing into the morning haze. Joe rushed to his mother, but it was too late. The woman he loved, the woman who had always been there for him, was gone. The investigation began almost immediately, but the case was anything but straightforward. Marlene Warren was a kind, well-liked woman, someone with no known enemies, a small business owner who ran a local flower shop. She was a mother, a wife, and a friend. Who could want her dead? The police turned their attention to her husband, Michael Warren. Joe wasn't convinced at first. No way. He would never do something like that, Joe had said, rejecting the thought. But Marlene had always been concerned about Michael, often telling Joe, "If anything happens to me, your father did it." She had warned him, though, never expecting the words to come to life. As detectives dug into Michael Warren's background, they discovered unsettling truths about his personal life. He had been married before to a woman named Sheila Keen-Warren, whom he had an affair with during his marriage to Marlene. But there was no hard evidence, no smoking gun. The investigation grew cold as months turned into years, and the murder remained unsolved. The idea that a bizarre figure could be behind the murder made it even harder for authorities to connect the dots. As we reflect on this story, subscribe and don't forget to turn on the notification bell for more daily stories that need to be heard. Hit that subscribe button and let us know where you are watching from in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Fast forward to 2017. The case had grown cold, its many leads abandoned. That's when a breakthrough came thanks to the tireless work of the Palm Beach County Cold Case Unit. Old evidence was retested, and a crucial discovery was made. Hair found in the getaway vehicle matched the DNA of Sheila Keen. The fibers recovered from the car, and a photograph of Sheila dressed as a clown during a Halloween party at her burger joint gave investigators enough to warrant a re-examination of the case. Sheila Keen-Warren had been under their radar all along, hiding in plain sight. Married to Michael Warren, her former lover and the widower of the woman she allegedly murdered, Sheila had seemingly pulled off the perfect crime. The only problem? Time had caught up with her. The revelation that Sheila was the chief suspect in Marlene's murder shocked everyone, but even more so when investigators discovered her new life with Michael Warren. The two had gotten married in 2002, 12 years after the murder of his wife. The small Tennessee town where they lived, Kingsport, had been home to a local burger joint the Warrens had opened together. Purple Cow. Rumors had circulated for years, whispers that Sheila had dressed as a clown and had been involved in Marlene's death, but no one had been able to connect the dots until now. Employees at the restaurant recalled odd moments from years past, one in particular vividly describing Sheila dressing as a clown for Halloween. She had even posed for a picture in full clown makeup. Detectives now had enough to charge Sheila with murder. On September 26, 2017, after more than 27 years of unanswered questions, Sheila Keen-Warren was arrested for Marlene Warren's murder. The woman who had spent years living free of suspicion, carrying on her life as if nothing had ever happened, was finally facing the consequences of her actions. It took over 30 years to make sense of it all, Joe Ahrens said in disbelief. The nightmare that had started with the violent death of his mother was now moving toward a courtroom. But Sheila's defense attorney, Greg Rosenfeld, wasn't giving up. He insisted that the arrest was nothing more than the Palm Beach County State Attorney's Office attempting to close a high-profile cold case. "We will never know who killed Marlene Marlene Warren, he said. The investigation was shoddy at best. For Joe Aarons, the arrest brought a sense of vindication. After years of believing his mother's death was just an unsolved tragedy, the truth was finally coming to light. Sheila Keen-Warren, his stepfather's lover, the woman who had been a part of their family for so long, was the mastermind behind his mother's death. But the story didn't end there. The case would drag on for over 5 more years in court, with delays and procedural setbacks. Each delay was another twist in a case that had already taken more than 3 decades to unfold. And though the twists and turns of the courtroom drama felt endless, the dark truth remained. Marlene Warren had been murdered by someone she trusted, by someone she had welcomed into her home. The clown, a grotesque symbol of deception and murder, was just the beginning. As the case finally drew closer to resolution, Joe Aarons found himself face to face with the haunting question: what happens when the past refuses to stay buried? The story of Marlene Warren's murder is a chilling reminder of how sometimes the most horrifying crimes are the ones hidden in plain sight. The clown was just the mask, a decoy to distract from the real horror beneath. The web of lies, betrayal, and secrets spun by Sheila Keen-Warren and Michael Warren was a masterpiece of deception. And as the case came to its long-awaited conclusion, one thing remained clear. Sometimes justice takes decades, but in the end, it will always find its way to the surface.